Yeah, more stories. Okay, this is actually a follow-up from the MotoGP event at Yamaha. Okay, so I said earlier I met this guy who looks like Rocky, from Business Times and Malay Mail. On the topic of Malay Mail, okay, after this MotoGP rider meet and greet fan session ended, so I worked my way to the buffet table, just grab some makan, set myself on this table with the sales manager from the Yamaha Motor Malaysia Corporate Com division. So next to me there was this aneh fella. He was like brooding and sulking and all that. So when I sat myself down, he said something like, "Oh, I'm very disappointed, blah blah blah." Oh, okay. So probably the guy had a bad day and he had to ride his motorcycle to Sungai Buloh in the rain, blah blah blah. Then he was talking. Then I was asked about what I used to do. Say, okay, I used to work as a reporter, and I worked my way all the way from a reporter to a deputy editor in a newspaper, and I progressed to content development. My last known post was a producer for a internet TV channel called ASEAN Now. And while I was at it, the guy said, "Oh, those days, right? Those editors, wow, they are really mean guys. If you don't do a story, they will spike your story." I say, "Okay, wait a minute, spike the story. I haven't heard that for ages. Spike the story." So in the newsroom, spike the story means you file in your story on a typewriter or the word processor or the editorial system. You hand the printout to the editor. He looks at it and they said, "This is rubbish. You are writing trash. I'm not going to use it." So there's this little paper spike. It will just spike the thing. So spike is something that it is a term used by reporters who were in the business in the 70s and 80s. So if somebody say spike the story, blah blah blah, he's probably about 70 or 80 years old today. So I'm referring to legendary people like the great PC Shivadas. Okay, if you know that, there is a guy from the Straits Times, and the legendary Lim Tau Boon. Okay, no young fellas actually knew who Lim Tau Boon is. Probably you need to Google. His last post was assistant group editor at the New Straits Times. So Lim Tau Boon actually looked at one of my stories and actually spiked it. Anyway, in a way that the story wasn't used, okay, but there's no typewriter, no what. That time we had the editorial system called the ATEC system. The keyboard is like made from metal and plastic. You can actually swing it at someone and fracture his skull. So that's how it was back in the days. So going back to this aneh fella, I was noticing his left arm. He had this tattoo of a heart and a sword. So I was thinking, wow, this fella maybe some, quick reaction force operator from CIA, blending into the crowd and all that. Then he went on and telling the sales manager about life in the newspaper, in the press and all that, about how reporters were treated and so on. And as he was running by, he said, "Where were you?" So I was with Malay Mail. I said, "Huh? Malay Mail? Okay, Malay Mail, okay." Yeah, I was there from 1998 right down to 2004 when I got married. So I got fond memories in the Malay Mail, because if you work in the Straits Times, people just hate your guts. They will banish you to the Malay Mail. But in the Malay Mail, that's not the end of the world. That's where you actually become much tougher. So if the New Straits Times is the army, the Malay Mail is the Marine Corps of the newspaper business. So you have to be independent. You got to go out and get your stories. You cover everything from clogged drain to dead bodies and so on. So then I said, oh wow, Malay Mail, that's fantastic, man. Then he mentioned a magical name, Frankie De Cruz. I said, okay, Frankie De Cruz was with Malay Mail. He went to the Straits Times, and he came out, and he had his own business, and then he went back to the Malay Mail as editor emeritus. So these people give themselves some funky title, editor emeritus, editor at large. So in my understanding, editor at large is somebody who's never in the office, always go and do things and sneaking around. Anyway, getting back to the name Frankie De Cruz. Yeah, okay, Frankie De Cruz. I sort of reconnected with the namesake because I saw an article on Free Malaysia Today about this Archer guy who did some charity work for some down and out former athlete and so on. So I said, if you know Frankie De Cruz, then you should know Mr. R. Nadeswaran. Then he said, yeah, Citizen Nades, Citizen Nades, his son just got married. Then I said, wait a minute, if you have been around, your stories got spiked in the newspaper, I think somewhere down the line you got your facts wrong, because Nadeswaran is married to a lady called Shamini. Okay, I have a hard time recalling. He is married to Shamini. So this Shamini lady was a feature writer in Sunday Times. I had the opportunity to work with her until she left the company under the VSS scheme that was offered in the late 90s. So Shamini had two children, two daughters, the late Sumitra and Vichitra. So Vichitra should be in her 30s by now. So Sumitra tragically passed away in a car accident some time back. So I also knew Nadeswaran, not in a good way, because I think we had a fallout, and then later we kind of patch up a bit. I met him and all that. I think if I meet him, I'll call him, hey, Mr. Nades, that's about no hard feelings. So this guy said Nadeswaran's son got married. I said, something is very, very super wrong here, You can't make this up as you go along. And he said, oh, okay, well, I think he just withdrew back and all that. And then a couple of minutes later down the conversation, he just excused himself and scooted off. So I was very curious. I said, who the hell is this guy? And luckily for him, he had a digital footprint. So I did some search there, see ding down the line. Oh, this guy was formerly in the real estate business. Then he was an editor in some publication. Then he made his way to Malay Mail as some senior specialist writer in the Malay Mail. That was in 2015. So 2015, I was at almost reaching the very end of my career in the print business as a deputy editor in the Metro section. I was, in fact, I made my cross to content development as a producer. So 2015, 10 years ago, the guy was in the business. Then he joined this automotive portal, and he's there till today. So to sum it up, you can't make up stories like spike the article or the story that you have done, because I don't think you've been there in the newsroom back in the 70s where there's actually Quailo in Jalan Riong, smoking, drinking beer on their table. They actually used a typewriter to file in the story, and that was a time, I think, an establishment newspaper like the New Straits Times is highly respectable. In fact, if you go to any function, If you're from Straits Echo or from the Star, they ask you to wait. Why? Because the NST reporter is not there yet. So that is the amount of respect an NST reporter commanded back then. And people like that who can verify my story are people like PC Shivadas, the great Lim Tao Boon, and so on. So I had the opportunity to work under people in the business like Ahmad Talib, the legendary his legendary assistant editor, Zainon Ahmad, or better well known as Pak Non. So I have trouble recalling because I don't really talk about my past. Bit of a trouble recalling was this of many years ago when I started in the journalism business as a reporter in the mid-90s. So yeah, I meet people. If I just move incognito, nobody knows what I do for a living. So it's very hard for the people in the corporate com business to actually establish what I do and who I am. So I'm enjoying retirement life, you know, riding my motorbike, walking my dog, doing all my outdoor thingies, going cycling and all that. Living quite a low profile life. And you know, with this new gig, you know, writing about motor adventure, I might be spending a little bit more time at functions and all that, meeting people. And if I ever cross paths with this guy again, which I think I will, I think he will choose his stories rather with more caution. You know, when you say people like Nadiswaran had a son who just got married, you know, rings really red flag. And then he also knew Rocky. So I say, Rocky was my former boss. I used to work under him. So I think the guy probably will be looking at places like LinkedIn and all that, you know, to find out more. But yeah, that's for me to know and for him to find out. So yeah, that's another story I got from the MotoGP event. So hopefully, if there's any more interesting encounters next time, I'll share with you guys.